how this works. Okay. Perfect. I think, Michael, that you have you should mute your mic.
Okay.
Okay. So I have a presentation. I will show it. I will try to go as fast as I can, but as slow as any question that you want to do is welcome. Okay, so you can interrupt me at any moment that you want. The main idea of this webinar is it's an idea from Lucas Tusco. He told me, well, maybe it's good for the community to learn a little bit about what is Manuel Chain and what you be building. And I talked with Dusan. I don't know if Dusan is the way how is pronounced your name. Anyway, you are mute, but I suppose that's how it's pronounced. Well, the idea is mainly to explain how the Manuel Chain protocol works, how you can have a stablecoin fully backed by Bitcoin, trust minimized, and also some other protocols, some other things that been built on top of Rootstock, that is a Bitcoin sidechain. Sorry for my Spanglish. I'm Argentine, as you might be listening, but I will try to do my best to make it as good English as I can. Okay, but my native language is Spanish. So I will share a presentation. Let me know if. Okay. Michael, you can add the people that joins, right?
Yes, sure.
Perfect. Okay, let me present this way. Okay, there. So we are going to talk mainly about Bitcoin fake stablecoin, collateralized with stablecoin mainly over collateralized with Bitcoin. That's the main focus of the talk. I will talk a little bit of other protocols that been built that you can do some things also with these tokens if you want. Okay, but the main focus is stablecoins and especially Bitcoin-backed stablecoins. A little bit about me. I learned about Bitcoin since 2011, more or less. I have a friend that is one of the earliest Bitcoiners in Argentina. He's maybe one of the first person to do public talks about Bitcoin in Argentina. He learned about Bitcoin like in 2009, and he went full life in 2011. That's my friend Max Carcusa. And he talked a lot about Bitcoin in a group of friends. I did an MBA with him in 2005. And in 2016, I worked with him. I started studying Bitcoin, not understanding what it was. Before that, I was on banking, and I was in SAP, an IT firm, the German IT firm. And in SAP, I was working in the innovation department, and the global head of innovation came to Argentina. He told us, well, the technology that is going to revolutionize the world is big data, machine learning, and several others, and blockchain. So I called my friend and I told him, we need to make a consultancy, an IT consultancy about blockchain because it's the future. And he told me, no, you don't understand anything. It's not blockchain, it's Bitcoin. And I tried I discussed with him for 2 years about building a business consultancy firm to do consultancy around blockchain. And in that process, he told me about this idea that he had about building a stablecoin protocol. And I asked him if anyone had built it, and he told me that it was a difficult idea, that nobody had built it. And I thought, well, maybe it's a good idea to try to do it. And meanwhile, I will learn more about this technology. And if it doesn't work, I will do something else. So I decided to start this adventure, this project, without really understanding what was Bitcoin, what was really stablecoins. I just was working in business consulting, IT, banking, but I understood that this was something that someone needed to build, or not. It was impossible. Actually, most people, when we started, they told us, you are stupid, nobody can build a stablecoin backed by Bitcoin because it's too volatile. Who is going to use this? And well, you know what happens when you try to do crazy things. I went into Argentine Bitcoin NGO. I started working there and helping on this is one of the oldest Bitcoin NGOs in the world. And actually, a couple of years later, I started one project inside the NGO, which is Decentralized. That is a massive conference in Argentina for several thousand people to learn from scratch in just one day what is Bitcoin. So this year is going to be the 4th year that we do this conference. And then I started other project like Bitcoin Scala, which is a podcast. I invite you to join. It's in Spanish. We talk about how to scale the use of Bitcoin, mainly through Lightning Network, Liquid, and RSK tech, but also around other things like communities, which is a very important part of how we scale the social tech behind building Bitcoin, no? And I'm a freedom maximalist. Regarding Bitcoin, I'm more a monetary Bitcoin maximalist. I think that Bitcoin is the best money in the long term, a store of value. But I think that beside Bitcoin layer 1, you can build a lot of things. So I'm not a maximalist in that sense. I think that we can use Bitcoin in several other ways. And some people, we call ourselves like Bitcoin mutants in that sense, that is after being a Bitcoin maximalist, maybe a toxic maximalist, well, you start to understand that you can do a lot of things with Bitcoin. So I mainly think about Bitcoin that we can build a different, completely free financial system on top of Bitcoin, okay? So the agenda, that some content that I have to share with you today is about Roostok, which is the technology on top of what we built Manuel chain, and on top of what been built the first Bitcoin-backed stablecoins. And then a short introduction of what is stablecoins from my perspective. Then a little bit about the protocols on Roostok. I will talk more about Manuel chain protocol, which is the protocol that I mostly know, but I can, if any have any questions, I also know a little bit of other protocols on top of Roostok. And then I will share a demo just for you to understand how to use this technology in case you are interested. Okay. So regarding Roostok, again, I I told before that anyone that has any question can interrupt me. I understand that some people is with Dusan in a conference room.
Manu, sorry,
Yeah.
this is Gabriel. May I
Ah,
just say hello to everyone for 2 minutes because I'm not gonna be able to stay for the whole presentation.
Great. Yes. Well, for anyone that don't know who is Gabriel, maybe Gabriel, you can. I was just going to start to present Rostock, so Gabriel is one of the co-founders. I don't know if you want to present yourself, but thank you for joining.
No, sorry for not being in the proper place to be able to join you guys on the street, but I wanted to be present. I think it's great what you guys are building there in Honduras with Prospera, and I'm really excited to explore potential collaborations and see what the Rostock ecosystem can do for what you guys are building. Just to summarize what Manu said, we are from Argentina, as you can see from our accents. We've suffered hyperinflations, bank confiscations, capital controls for decades. So we understood Bitcoin very quickly as a store of value, but we also believe that Bitcoin could be the basis for a whole financial system to be built on top of it. And that is very important that everything is connected to Bitcoin. So that's why we decided to estoy haciendo una presentación. This is my friend. Hola. 2 minutes. So I'm, as I was saying, I'm very excited to be building this full financial system built on top of Bitcoin. And money on chain is one of the best use cases that have emerged from this ecosystem. First, decentralized stablecoin with Bitcoin as collateral. So very excited to see that it's getting closer to your project, and we're here to support anything that helps Bitcoin and helps mass adoption in Latin America and empower individuals and entrepreneurs in the region. Is what we're trying to accomplish here by building a whole financial system on top of Bitcoin. So thanks for the invite, Manu. I really appreciate being able to say hi to everyone, and really looking forward to support all the efforts of Money on Chain and the whole Rostock ecosystem to build a decentralized financial system for Honduras and for the whole region.
Thank you, Gaku. And Gaku is Gabriel Kurman. Gabriel is in the group, in the WhatsApp group of the Roatan Bitcoin community. So anyone who wants to get in contact with Gabriel, he's there. Okay. So I understand that, Gabi, you have now a dinner, so you are free to go. And in any case, if someone has any questions, we will share it in the group. Regarding Rostock, Rostock is well. I'm going to talk about what is Rostock and a little bit. I'm not a tech guy, okay? Again, I'm more a business guy. So I'm going to explain very, very shortly two very important pieces in the Rostock technology stack, which is the POPEG and a little bit about the security on Rostock. So why Rostock? Why not build a stablecoin on top of Bitcoin on chain? It's just that you cannot do it, not now. It's a meme. This is a meme that I like it. We would love to do this tech on top of Bitcoin layer 1. Actually, we will break Bitcoin layer 1 if we do this. So and we studied several times Lightning Network. When we started, Lightning Network was not working. It was just an idea. But still now, it's not possible to build what we have built on top of Rostock, on top of Lightning Network. We plan to do some things with Lightning Network, but why not Bitcoin on chain? Why not Lightning Network? Well, because we can't, okay? What is Rostock? I like this very short definition from Nick Szabo. I imagine that everybody in this webinar knows who is Nick Szabo. But well, if you don't know, you can go and research a little bit about Nick. But when he learned about the idea of Rootstock 7 years ago, he said this: it's an improved version of Ethereum virtual machine. It's not Ethereum, actually. It uses the tech of Ethereum, but it's a Bitcoin sidechain. So Rootstock, this is one very important definition from my point of view. Bitcoin is an extension of Rootstock is an extension of Bitcoin. Is part of Bitcoin. Actually, Rootstock do not exist without Bitcoin. Okay, cannot work. And we are going to talk a little bit more about this. So what is Rootstock? It's smart contracts. Is trust minimized finance using Bitcoin. I don't like the term decentralized. It's like too much for me. It's not decentralized. It's trust minimized finance. Is providing scalability, doing many more transactions. On average, one transaction is every 30 seconds, and is much cheaper than using Ethereum, for example, or not all other blockchains. But if you are doing transactions, actually, if you want to move 2 Bitcoins, 3 Bitcoins, and you need to move it fast, it's a good idea maybe to use Rootstock as a sidechain. I imagine that in the future, if Bitcoin has huge adoption, it would be if Bitcoin has a huge adoption, most probably Rootstock is going to be used a lot as an intermediate, because if you want to move a lot of Bitcoin in main chain, it's going to be expensive and slow, because it is slow. Now it's not expensive because it's not really a lot used, the main chain. But it is much cheaper if you want to move a lot of Bitcoin to do it on Rootstock than to do it on Lightning Network. Lightning Network, if you want to transact a lot of Bitcoin, is very expensive. And as I mentioned, if you want to do it main chain, it's too slow. And in the future, I expect that it's going to be also very expensive. So what is one of the main features of Rootstock? I told you that I was going to talk about two things, two techs. One of the two important things is the POW-PEG, or two-way peg. You can find these two ways of calling this. What is the POW-PEG? The POW-PEG is a mechanism that allows you to block Bitcoin in the main chain and to issue these tokens one-to-one in the Rootstock sidechain. Okay, it's a blockchain, but it's a sidechain of Bitcoin, and this mechanism is trust minimized. Actually, to issue this is completely decentralized. You just send a transaction in the Bitcoin main chain, and it's issue this locks the Bitcoins in the main chain and unlocks these tokens in the side chain. And when you want to destroy these tokens in RSK and liberate the Bitcoins in the main chain, there is another transaction. So there is a very trust minimized way, very decentralized way to do this, which is called the two-way peg. You can do it in a wallet which is called Defiant. I'm going to show you a little bit about what is Defiant in a couple of minutes. But it's a mobile wallet. It integrated completely this mechanism, which is quite complex, and you can do it in a mobile wallet very easily. And you also can do it with a computer, with an application, which is the two-way peg application. But it takes a lot of time to do it like 15 hours to is mainly for security reasons, that it takes like 15 hours to unlock the smart bitcoins, the bitcoins that runs on Rostock, and 33 hours to do it back. So there's already other there's people that mint these tokens or redeem these tokens, and these tokens, the RBTC, are sold in a secondary markets. Okay, so one way to do this is using instead of using this native mechanism, is to use, for example, the fast BTC is another mechanism, which is not this very decentralized mechanism, and I'm going to show you this. But there is several ways to get RBTC. Okay, so for making an example, also is like if you have a Bitcoin and you want to use WBTC, which is the Bitcoins running on Ethereum. If you want to use WBTC, normally you will buy the WBTC in exchanges or whatever. You are not going to send Bitcoin to BitGo and they will mint the Bitcoins, okay? Normally that is made centrally. You can do this in a complete decentralized way, but it takes time. And for example, I have done it several times, but you don't need to use this very, very decentralized mechanism. There is a more centralized mechanism, and at the end, it's good. You need to pay a small fee if you want to use this more centralized and more fast mechanism, but always you know that you have this decentralized mechanism, which is the two-way peg or the POW peg. Okay, and the other very important mechanism that has Rostock is what is called the merge mining. Merge mining is at the same time that you are the miners are mining the Bitcoin main chain. More than 50% of the Bitcoin pools, of the Bitcoin mining pools, are mining also this sidechain. Okay, so they are using actually the same consensus mechanism, and there is no energy needed to do this. So it does not cost anything to a Bitcoin mining pool to run to look for the hashes. And actually, as I mentioned, nearly 50% of Bitcoin mining pools are mining this. And this, when you use any protocol on top of Rostock, or if you are using just Rostock to move smart Bitcoins, like maybe you use Lightning Network to move Bitcoins, but very fast, well, you can use Rostock to move Bitcoin, not as fast as Lightning, but much faster than on mainchain, okay? And 80% of the fees goes to the miners. So this is a huge synergy between RSK and Bitcoin, because it is like subsidized by the Bitcoin miners, because there is no other energy that they have to spend to use RSK. And at the same time, the Bitcoin miners receive a subsidy. Okay, so there is a huge synergy between this sidechain and Bitcoin. And actually, I think that this is going to be very important in the future for Bitcoin. Okay, because in the future, when the block subsidy is going to decrease and transaction is going to be more expensive, I expect, but maybe it's not going to be, the security budget is not going to be enough. But if we bring a lot of the transactions, a lot of the activity that you have in Tron, in Ethereum, in all other blockchains, and you bring that all that transactions to Bitcoin, well, Bitcoin will have a lot of more money to secure the network. So it's, from my point of view, it's very important for Bitcoin to attract all this activity to Bitcoin. Okay. One thing, again, if someone have any question, please interrupt me, because I'm not seeing if, for example, if someone raises a hand or whatever, I'm not seeing anyone. Okay, I'm just seeing my presentation.
We have a question from Dusan in the chat.
Okay. Yes, Dusan. Let me see the question. Who has the keys from the wallet for paying? And how many signatures are needed to move the coins from the wallet? Well, that's a very important question. First, this is a multi-sig, but they are called like pegnatories, okay? They are like functionaries. They use a hardware security module, but they don't have access to the private keys, and they don't have access to the funds, okay? They just sign transactions, but they cannot steal the Bitcoins, okay? They cannot move the Bitcoins from the multisig. They don't have access to the Bitcoins inside this multisig. So the worst case scenario, the very worst case scenario is that the governments of the world go against these pegnatories, the ones that are running this HSM, it's called hardware security modules, that they are very well known. For example, is, I don't know, it's a list I will share later a site where all the pegnatories are public now. In the case of governments, I don't know, United States and so the governments go against that list, there is a mechanism for a new list to come. And if that goes down, there's another mechanism on which, I don't know, it's Jameson Loop and some other people has an emergency mechanism to restore this wallet. But in no case they have access to these Bitcoins, okay? But again, it's quite different to, for example, to BitGo, in which they have access to the Bitcoins. This is censorship resistant. They cannot, the government, for example, from the United States, will not be able to say, okay, I want to seize this Bitcoin. I want to steal that money. And from my point of view, and this is the proposal also of the Rostock founders, we the Bitcoiners that are using this technology, what we want is a Bitcoin community to approve a Bitcoin improvement proposal. There is a number for that, is the 300, that is called Drive Chains. One of the founders of Rostock, which is Sergio Lerner, has a better proposal than the 300, but that's a matter when times come, we will discuss. But if we approve Drive Chains, these pegnatories are not going to be needed, because the only reason why we need this mechanism is because right now Bitcoin cannot listen to things outside Bitcoin, okay? And this Drive Chain will enable something that will enable Bitcoin main chain to listen other networks. I'm not the technical guy, but there is a solution for that. Up to now, there is no consensus for doing this change on Bitcoin. But meanwhile, well, from my point of view, it's it's the most decentralized way to do smart contracts outside Bitcoin main chain, okay? And is the HSM like a node? Can you build this hardware to be one of them? I don't understand this last question, but if you want to run one of these nodes, you can propose to Rostock community, and anyone can run one of these. There is like a consensus, but again, I will share more of these technical things in the group later, maybe through Gabriel. But there is a small fee that earns these pegnatories, but it's like no big business right now, but because there is not so much activity, it could be good business, more business in the future. But right now, it's mainly organizations that are supporting new use cases for Bitcoin. Okay. Brains is merge mining. Actually, Brains is the biggest pool doing merge mining of Bitcoin with Rostock. So they are already merge mining and mining RSK. Okay. So the answer regarding that question is yes. Okay. But I don't know how they share the fees, and that's something that you can go to Brains. I talked a couple of years ago with Brains. I know that they mine the Rostock sidechain, but I don't know how they share the fees and all the rest. Okay, so okay. And again, if you have technical questions about Rostock, the best place to do it, there is a Slack where Rostock has like a really amazing team of researchers. It's led by Sergio Lerner. For those of you that don't know who is Sergio Lerner, Sergio is one of the earliest Bitcoin Core developers. He found several bugs in Bitcoin in early days. He was he leads the tech of Rostock. He was one of the security auditors of Ethereum, and then he invented several things. And then he thought that Ethereum was great, but it was better to do the same like Ethereum, but using Bitcoin without needing another token. So the main token of Rostock at the end is Bitcoin. You don't have another thing. So very short introduction to stablecoins, or not so short, depends. So what is stablecoin? I think that everybody here knows, but it's mainly tracking the value of other assets. So it's not only Tether that tracks the value of dollar. You have, for example, in Paxos has the tokens tracking the price of gold, or is pegged to gold, and you have True that has also a token that is pegged to euro. Tether is launching had launched actually a Mexican Tether and a Mexican Real. So actually, it's a token that is pegged to something else, to the price of something else. Okay. And the main way to build these stablecoins, there is three ways. The one that is fully backed by a traditional asset. Then another way is to use crypto as collateral. So mainly using collateral, that's one way. And then there is some fantasy projects that are called algorithmics, like Lunaterra. They don't work, never going to work. And try to avoid those projects. Right now, Justin Tron have launched like a fork of Terra Luna, Last time I saw it, it had like 600 millions market cap. It's a very bad idea. So try to avoid that. Okay. But if you don't take into account that crazy things, there is mainly, I think the main way to build stablecoins is using some collateral. So you can use crypto collateral, which could be Bitcoin or could be Ethereum or could be something else. Okay. And then you have the project that use traditional assets like fiat money in banks, shares, and non-digital assets like gold. Okay. The most well-known project of stablecoin is Tether. It's not the only one. As you see here, there is several ones through USD, USDC. Well, the BUSD is going to disappear because the government of the United States said that they must disappear. And I don't know where it is. Frax is like a little bit of algorithmic, so I don't know. I'm not following too much that. But main one is Tether. Okay. When I started building Manuel chain in January 2018, it was a very small market, 1,300 millions. And actually today I saw that Tether is again like 90,000 millions dollars market cap. So it's a huge market. Actually, the token most traded in the world is not Bitcoin, it's Tether, because you trade Tether against anything. Yes. What can we say about Tether? Tether is globally accepted. That's very good. And it's very easy to make Tether. You just put dollars in a bank account or treasury bills, and with that, maybe you can get some interest on that. Most probably, Tethering gets some interest on that. It's very good business for them. And you have a token that is issued on several blockchains, but there is a risk on Tether. The main risk is that you need to trust. You need to trust Tethering. You need to trust Paolo Androino. You need to trust that the government of the United States is not going to go against them. I think that Paolo and Tethering and Bitfinex, which is the chain behind Tether initially, I really hope and I really want to think that they are very nice and very good people and they are not going to do anything wrong. But, if they don't do that, I don't trust the governments. And I think that there is a risk that a government don't like what Paolo is doing or whatever. If not, also maybe someone that Paolo don't know, maybe they put the money in some place that they shouldn't, and there could be a risk. So I don't want to give bad about Tether, but if you use Tether, you need to trust on them. Because you really don't know. You cannot audit real time what is happening behind that, because it's impossible, as you also don't know what is happening behind a bank. Actually, Tether is a big bank using another technology, which is blockchain, okay? And several blockchains. What is the problem behind Tether at the end? The problem is the same problem that you have with for example, the dollar. Initially, the dollar was backed by gold, and you were trusting the U.S. government that they will have the gold behind. Okay, but then it came Roosevelt, and then it came Nixon, and you know how it happened, how it ended. When trust disappeared, when you changed the rules, actually the dollar initially, it was not on blockchain, but it was a gold-backed stablecoin. It had a peg to the gold, okay? That peg was broken in the 70s. It started to broken in the 30s with Roosevelt, and it broke completely on the 70s. And well, you know the story if you're American, or if you know a little bit of the price of gold, you know what had happened with the dollar. Okay. And let me share with you a little bit of my history, and that's something as Gabriel was telling earlier. We Argentines, I'm Argentine. We really know about not trusting a centralized organization. In Argentina, we had a couple of years ago, like 23 years, actually it was 33 years ago, there was a politician that made what was called convertibility. So convertibility or convertibilidad was a system in which the Central Bank of Argentina had a stablecoin. They issued this Argentine peso that was 1-to-1 to the dollar. So they had dollar as collateral, and they issued the Argentine pesos. And actually, there was a president that, when there is this is Dualde, he said on main television, "Don't worry, if you have put dollars, you will receive dollars back if you put dollars in the bank." And actually, there is a law that the Congress approved, which is called intangibilidad de los depósitos, which is nobody can touch the money that you have put in the bank. If you put dollars, we, the Congress, promise that you are going to receive dollars. But you know what happens with laws? The same thing that Nixon did, when Argentina did it a couple of years ago. And well, now these are memes from these days. So what is the price of dollar that was 1-to-1 to dollar, one peso, $1? Well, now $500, 500 pesos is $1. 1 week ago was 400. So we have like a huge devaluation in these couple of days, these last couple of days. Well, there's a lot of memes. If you go and search in Twitter, you will find many memes. Okay, so that was stablecoins not on blockchain, but you know that the second most biggest stablecoin is USDC, and this is a very funny story because you know Tether is like the bad guy, the rebel guy, but all the establishment and all the crypto guys were saying, no, well, I use USDC, but because this is very regulated, very secure. You can trust this guy because the government is behind them and they are nice. And well, what happened? They had the money in the wrong bank. And actually, they had like $3.3 billion in Silicon Valley Bank. I hope that I saw today that another bank in United States went bust. So I don't know if they also had in this other San Francisco bank. I hope not. But the story is that in a couple of days, because this risk that always existed, that also exists now in Tether and in any of these centralized stablecoins that have this money that could be in a bank and you don't know in which bank. It could be in a government and you don't know who is going, if they went bust, and you will have a problem, a huge problem. But the reality is that they lost the peg. Happily, luckily for a lot of people, they recovered the peg. But I don't know. I really don't know because you cannot know. Actually, the CEO, Jeremy, said almost all the $3.3 billion. $3.3 billion is a lot of money. No, so almost everything is back. I don't know how much is that, almost. So actually, most probably the last people that is going to know if there is a problem is the USDC users. But in reality, as you see, the market cap of USDC is decreasing a lot and very fast. It's like 15 billions disappear in just 3 months. Well, this is going most as if you can do the numbers, most probably is user going from USDC to Tether, okay? Which is exactly the same model with exactly the same risks. The only real thing about Tether is that really nobody knows what's behind Tether. Hopefully, everything is okay. So, regarding stablecoins built on top of Bitcoin. So as I mentioned earlier, we started to build this protocol, which is called Manuel Chain, in 2018. The main objective was to build a stablecoin. Actually, one of the other co-founders, the person who had the idea, Max Carcusa, he had a project to build a Tether in Argentina, because we need in Argentina dollars, crypto dollars, because in Argentina, for example, right now, if you live in Argentina, like if you live in Colombia and many countries in the world, the government do not allow you to use US dollars in bank accounts. They don't want you, because they want you to use the peso, so they can steal you much faster, and they can steal you, not the US government. So, but most people in Argentina prefer to use US dollar. You know, most of you are Bitcoiners. Most of you don't think US dollar is the best thing to use, especially for saving in the long term. But if you live in a country like Argentina, or if you want to trade globally, well, US dollar is a good unit of account, okay? So we as Bitcoiners, especially Max, that was a Bitcoiner for a long time, he understood that having stablecoins was very useful for Bitcoiners for many reasons, okay? Mainly because Bitcoin is too volatile for doing, for example, for merchant, if you want to sell a car, you can sell it on Bitcoin, but if Bitcoin goes down 10% in one day, and you are holding your money in Bitcoin, well, maybe you are not going to be able to buy again another car to sell. Okay, so Bitcoin is great for saving in the long term, but it's not good for business in the short term. It's something that I discuss a lot with Bitcoiners, because they say, the dollar is a shitcoin. Okay, yes, I agree. In the long term, yes, but in the short term, you need to trade with US dollar with a more predictable value. Okay, I think in that sense, the euro, the dollar, the Swiss franc are very useful. Okay, so we wanted to build a stablecoin protocol, but when we started on Rootstock, there was nothing was. There was no oracles, there were no exchanges, and we wanted to build something decentralized, so we needed to build also a token to decentralize the protocol. So these are the main components of the whole protocol. I'm going to focus mainly on the stablecoin protocol, but these are other components of, like, we needed to build it to make it decentralized and to work. Because to make a stablecoin protocol, you need, for example, something to provide you the price of Bitcoin. There was nothing providing the price of Bitcoin in the Rootstock sidechain. So we build decentralized oracles. I'm not going to cover these two components. I'm going to cover very, very shortly about the MOC, the governance token. So how it works, the stablecoin protocol. It has mainly two tokens. It has the dollar on chain and the BitPro. Okay, the dollar on chain is a token, that gets stability from the BitPro holders. The BitPro holders are Bitcoin holders that are providing liquidity to the protocol. What gets the holder of the dollar on chain? You just have a stablecoin, a token that is fully backed by Bitcoin and is pegged always by a guarantee by a smart contract, is pegged 1-to-1 to US dollar. When I say that it's pegged, is if you have $100, you can send to the smart contract $100 on chain or doc, and the smart contract is going to give you back. You can redeem $100 and it will give you back $100 in smart bitcoins. Okay, so it's the magic of the smart contract is that you send $100 in Bitcoin and you get $100 on chain and vice versa. Okay, and for this to be possible, someone else needs to provide liquidity, to provide Bitcoins as collateral, and what they get free leverage. They get all the volatility that the dollar on chain holders are giving. They give this volatility, which is called leverage. On the other side, they provide this leverage for free to the BitPro holder. So at the end, what we have is these two different kind of Bitcoiners. One Bitcoiner that wants, it could be the same, but the same person. Actually, you can mint BitPro and you can have also dollar on chain. But maybe for the short term, you want to have some part of your Bitcoins, not. Michael, you are there, no? You are accepting new people.
Yes.
Perfect. If you want to just to put aside some part of your money in Bitcoin and to have pegged to US dollar, you can mint dollar on chain with your Bitcoins. And if some of your Bitcoins, you have it for long term and you have to have some exposure to leverage, you can mint the BitPro tokens. Could be the same person, it could be a different person. Okay. So this is a very, very easy example of how it works. Normally I don't explain this, but as this is like a masterclass or a webinar, and the idea is that if you have you want to really understand how this works, well, this is an example of how this works. So suppose that Bob is a stablecoin user and Alice is a Bitcoin holder. So when we start, the price of Bitcoin is $10,000. So one Bitcoin is 10,000 DOC. Okay, and Alice just mints $10,000 on chain, putting one Bitcoin, and then Bob comes and puts 7 Bitcoins, and he at that moment he gets 7 BitPros, because at that moment when it starts, one Bitcoin is equivalent to one BitPro. Okay, we are just starting the system. Okay, so in total in the system there is 8 Bitcoins. Again, one Bitcoin that has Alice, and 7 Bitcoins, which is equal to 7 BitPros that has Bob. Okay, in total at the beginning of this example you have $80,000. Okay, again it's 8 Bitcoins. Okay, and the price of one Bitcoin is one BitPro. What happens when the price of Bitcoin goes to 20,000? Okay, so Alice still has $10,000 on chains, but if the price of Bitcoin is $20,000, you only need half a Bitcoin to have the equivalent stablecoins. Okay, to have because half a Bitcoin is $10,000. Okay, but in the system you have 8 Bitcoins. So who earns this half a Bitcoin? Is Bob, that is the liquidity provider, the Bitcoin holder that is just providing liquidity and will absorb the volatility in case of the Bitcoin goes down. Okay, so this is how, very easy example, how the Bitcoin liquidity providers, the BPRO holders, earns Bitcoins in the long term if the price of Bitcoin goes up. Okay, of course, for example, in this at this moment, one BPRO will be worth 1.07 BTC. Okay, in this example. In case of, it could happen also the other way around. It could happen that the price of Bitcoin goes down. It goes down 50%. It has happened in the past that if that happens, then for having the equivalent of $10,000, you will need 2 Bitcoins. Okay, 2 Bitcoins, $5,000 is 10,000. So who lost that Bitcoin? Well, in this case, it will be Bob, the liquidity provider, that instead of having the 7 Bitcoin that he had at the beginning, he will, if he redeems his BPRO tokens, he will have less Bitcoins. So BPRO at the end is a token for long-term Bitcoin holders that expect that the price of Bitcoin is going to go up. And if the price of Bitcoin goes up in the long term, what we expect with this financial model that's been running for more than 3 years is that the BPRO will increase its price in Bitcoin terms. Okay. Again, as you see, this is how the model works. It's a very easy example. It's always in this example, it will have 8 Bitcoins. And if the price of Bitcoin in the long term increase, what will happen is that the liquidity provider will have more Bitcoins. Okay. It could happen other way around. Okay. And which is the biggest risk? Well, the biggest risk in this model is that the price of Bitcoin goes down a lot and forever stays there. Okay. If the price of Bitcoin, for example, now goes to 1,000 and stays there for the long term, well, the BPRO holder are going to lose everything. Maybe the dollar on-chain holder are going to have a haircut. There is a liquidation event that can happen. But the model being built to support the volatility of Bitcoin, historic volatility, and with very, very high, very conservative thresholds. So, for example, at any moment, if you want to mint $1 on chain, at least there have to be like $3 as collateral. And if now we are going to go to see the metrics of the protocol, right now there is nearly always there been more than 10 Bitcoins in collateral for each dollar that been mint. Because why? Because a lot of Bitcoiners like me, like a lot of friends that I have, we are really bullish on the price of Bitcoin, and we like this model, and we provide liquidity to this because it's a good way to increase with small risk. From my point of view, this is at any moment, this is a recommendation to invest anything because you do whatever you want with your money. But from the point of view, it seems of a lot of Bitcoiners that are using this protocol, this is a good way for having some free leverage, and also it's a good way to have a stablecoin, which is fully backed by Bitcoin and trust minimized. So a little bit more about the dollar on chain. As I mentioned, like the pros is there's a question. I don't know if there was a question or something. Okay, sorry. Kevin, you have a question? You have your hand rising.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
So the PBTC or the Pro BTC, does that has to be staked somewhere to receive the leverage, or does it has to be only on my wallet?
No, it's a token that is transferable. It's like any other token. It's like you are holding like a portion of all the Bitcoin that are locked inside a smart contract, but it's a token that you can pay things, you can trade, you can actually maybe take a loan on that, whatever. It's a tradable token, the BitPro. You hold it in your own with your own private keys.
Okay, so but the leverage, as you said, does that get automatically to the wallet, or
no? It is automatically on the token. Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So it's the token has this leverage. Okay, it's like a position, but it's inside the token. It's not a fixed. It's actually not a position. It's a token that has leverage. It's very difficult to explain sometimes the BitPro because it's something new. We invented this model. It didn't exist. Actually, people said that this was not going to work, but it's been working up to now for more than 3 years. So we are going to go a little bit more on BitPro, and I will show you how it works also in the platform. But regarding the dollar chain, is 100% is Bitcoin collaterals. No counterparty. There is no dollars in any bank account. It's all Bitcoin in a Bitcoin sidechain. Okay, so it's back at the end. It's all Bitcoin locked in the main chain, which has a representation in the sidechain. You have your keys. Actually, the founders of the protocol, we don't have access to those smart Bitcoins. Is highly over collateralized, more than 3 years running. Everything is transparent, open source. You can do your research. Cons is quite technical. For example, I'm not a technical guy. I need to trust in that sense. That's why I say it's trust minimized. At the end, it's always you need to trust someone else. But it's been audited on everything, and it's open source, and you can go and read the contracts. Okay. And at the end, there is a governance token, and you need to trust at the end on the people that govern all this protocol that is as much decentralized as we've been able to make it. But many people is like governing this protocol. Like in some way, also Bitcoin is governed. Bitcoiners at the end decide which is the path that Bitcoin is going to have. Mock holders are the ones that governs the protocol, that decide how this protocol is going to evolve. Okay. We are going to see this, how to go from Bitcoin to RBTC now in the demo, but beside the most decentralized ways, there is also in Bitfinex, you can buy the RBTC. Let's Bit is an Argentine, a Latin American exchange. OneBit is from Argentina also. Crypto Market is in Salvador and also in Venezuela and other countries. But there is CoinKX that is in Central America, and they are adding RBTC. If you need to buy RBTC, you can buy Bitcoin. You can buy in Honduras, in Central America, CoinKX, that I understand that is a well-known broker exchange in the region. Okay. And once you have RBTC, you can do this minting of dollar chain. I will show in a decentralized way using a web page that we built, but also is an open source protocol. So anyone that wants to integrate the protocol can integrate. We provided a web interface, okay, a web app. But for example, Defiant is a non-custodial wallet that had integrated the smart contract, and you can mint dollar on chain with Bitcoin and redeem dollar on chain to smart Bitcoin using this wallet. Okay, so this is completely open. And in the future, actually, we will love to close this web app. Actually, it's on IPFS, so it's not hosted in an Amazon Web Service. This is as much decentralized as we can. We've been able to make it. So this is quite decentralized. And there is other apps like Bixo is another decentralized. Not decentralized, non-custodial wallet. You can trade it in Sovereign, which is a decentralized exchange. Well, if you are building a wallet or you want to integrate the protocol, you can build your own app and execute the smart contracts. Okay, which are, again, is also open source, the IPFS web app. And if you want to buy in the region, for example, in ConcaX, also you can buy with dollars or whatever you have. You can buy dollar on chain, like in any broker or any exchange. There are several ways. And also you can buy peer-to-peer. If you want to buy Bitcoin with dollars, you can buy it. Or if you want to buy the same way you can buy Tether, of course, you can buy dollar on chain. What you can do, well, everything that you can do with Tether, you can do also with dollar on chain. It's the same use cases. And besides that, if you have, for example, also in Tether, you can go and do lending and deposits. But for this, you can do it also in Rootstock. So, for example, now, this is from today, it's paying if you have dollar on chain and you don't want to spend your dollars and you want to have some interest on your stablecoins, you can provide liquidity to a money market. Tropicus is the name of this protocol. It's another project. Actually, it's a fork of Compound, which is one of the biggest protocols running on Ethereum. But they forked the protocol and they brought it to Rootstock. So you can deposit the dollar on chain, or you can take a loan. You can deposit Bitcoins and take a loan. Now the rate is 11%, and you can take a loan on your Bitcoins. If you want to spend money and you don't want to sell your Bitcoin, obviously you will have some leverage on your Bitcoins. You need to be careful with that, but this is trust minimized. Okay, this is completely transparent. Again, it's quite similar to money on chain in that sense. Okay. Regarding the Bipro historic performance, this is from today. So since when it started, one Bipro was one Bitcoin, and today it was, obviously it changes all the time with the price of Bitcoin, but today it was like 19% on top. There is no, it went up to 30% when it was in the bull run, in the last all-time high of the price of Bitcoin. And of course, there is no guarantee of that. And of course, if the price of Bitcoin goes down, the price of Bipro will go down faster. So it's for example, since the all-time high, if you had Bipro in, I don't know, 1 year ago, now you will have less Bitcoins, okay? But most people providing liquidity to this project are providing for a long term. So, for example, in the last 3 months, if you had Bipro, you earn more than 4% in Bitcoin for holding this token, with what I consider, this is not financial advice, low risk. Okay, instead of being trading all the time, seeing the price of Bitcoin, you provide liquidity to this, and if Bitcoin goes up, this token will go up a little bit faster. Okay, Again, if it goes down, it will go down a little bit faster. But in the long term, what we expect, the people that are providing liquidity to this protocol, is that in the long term, Bitcoin is going to win to dollar. Okay. Regarding the MOC, is a governance token. Why we build it? Because we need to decentralize the protocol. If we didn't build that, this protocol will be completely centralized, so it will be very easy to attack the protocol. A government could go against the founders. Now, if a government goes against the founders, we don't have control on this protocol. So if you have this governance token, you can vote and veto the changes. I don't know if there is a question. Michael, you have a question?
Yes, a question from Dusam in the chat.
Yes. The BPRO price is gathered from what exchange? What is the liquidity and daily volume? What is the guarantee of BPRO to go up? Is it left to market forces, or if it's based on smart contract rules? Well, regarding the price, it has a technical price because you have a certain amount of BPRO issue, the number of tokens, and you have a number of Bitcoin that are locked. So the price is a technical price. Besides that, it's listed in a decentralized exchange, which is called Sovereign, which is running on Rostock, and it's also listed on a decentralized exchange that we built to have a secondary market. But it has a technical price, okay? So that is regarding the price. Regarding in guarantee of the if it's going to go up, there's no guarantee. What there is like a huge probability that if the price of Bitcoin goes up, technically, if it has like similar leverage all the time, and normally the leverage of the BPRO is not fluctuating so much, mathematically, the BPRO will go higher. If the Bitcoin goes up, the BPRO will go higher. There is a mathematical model behind the protocol. Okay, there is a white paper. It's been researched by PhD in finance, but there is no guarantee. Again, if the price of Bitcoin goes down, the BPRO will go down faster, and there is a very small risk of if in the short term, if for example there is an effect, which is actually we name this effect offer effect in the name of an Israeli person that a Bitcoiner that we present this model like 7 years ago. And if the BPRO goes up with a small leverage and then it goes down with higher leverage, well, at the end, starting in the same price, you could get less Bitcoin when the Bitcoin goes down to the same price. This is very technical. At the end, what had happened in the past is the other way around. When the Bitcoin goes, for example, when it went to 40,000, then it went down to 30,000, and then it went up again to 40,000. The next time, the price of BPRO reached before Bitcoin to the all-time high. So up to now, it had happened the good way, but no guarantees again. So I don't know if I explained all the questions. If not, please. There is some liquidation price of BTC. It's not written the liquidation price, but I will show you there is a coverage, and you can estimate the liquidation price using this coverage, which is adjusted. Maybe now we could add a liquidation price. The model changed a couple of months ago, so it was more difficult to define this liquidation price. Actually, right now, how the protocol is running, there is no liquidation. What you have, you will have is under collateralized tokens, and the MOC token holders need to vote to liquidate the protocol. Okay, but again, it's a very extreme scenario. We will see it in a couple of minutes. Well, I don't know. But again, if the price of Bitcoin goes to 1,000, yes, and it stays there for long term, well, the MOC token holders have the possibility to vote the liquidation of the protocol. Why we build this feature of non-liquidation, and there is a blog that explains all this. If you go to Manuel Chain webpage, is mainly because there could be a flash crash originated in for example, I don't know, US government says that Bitcoin is illegal. Well, in that case, there could be a flash crash in all the major exchanges in the world, and the price of Bitcoin could go down to 1,000 in 2 minutes, and we don't want the protocol to be liquidated in 1 minute because there is a huge panic in the market, which maybe is irrational and it's going to be for a couple of minutes or a couple of days. So in that case, again, the MOC token holder can vote to liquidate the protocol if the price of Bitcoin stays down for all that time. Again, if you think this can happen, my recommendation, the recommendation of the founders also of this protocol, is don't use Manuel Chain. Don't use these stablecoins if you think that this risk is very certain to happen. Actually, I would recommend you not to use Bitcoin in that case. But this is a protocol that's been thought by Bitcoiners that think that the risk of Bitcoin to go down like 90% in 2 minutes and to stay there for long term is very small. There is a risk, but it's very, very small. And from my point of view, the risk is much higher to use any other thing than to using the dollar on chain. And from the point of view of the BPRO holder, is when you are using this token is because you think that the opportunity that you have of earning some more sats are more interesting than not having your Bitcoins in a cold wallet. But again, there is no guarantee of anything. There is risk. Anything is risk-free. And there is risk on using anything that I've been explaining to you. So if you have the MOC token, you can vote, so you can be part of the governance of the protocol. And if you have it, when you mint the Roatan chain or you mint the BPRO, you will see that there is a small fee, like 0.3% or 0.25% in the case of you using the MOC. That fees are shared with the governance token holders. And also the BPRO holders pays a small fee, an annual fee that is charged every week. In total, it's 1% now, and this is when I show you the performance. This is without taking account. This is taking account all the fees. So deducting all that fees that been charged in the past. Well, the performance, that is the historic performance. So what the price you are seeing, the performance that you are seeing is with this price that the liquidity provider being paying to the MOC token holders. And if you have these tokens, you can pay when using the protocol, you have a discount. And something else, if you are a liquidity provider, you get MOC tokens. There is a big proportion of the tokens that have not been issued yet, and they are being issued like a subsidy, and part of that tokens goes to the liquidity providers. Okay, and there is a price. There is more about this token. So I will show you very fast the protocol. If you want to go to the protocol, this is the Manuel chain page. Here you have all the information, total value. This is the performance right now in real time, 19% for the Vipro. Well, everything that I had explained. If you want to integrate the protocol, there is more information. If you want to see to research and to see the contracts, it's all open source and it's all public. If you want to if you want to learn a little more about what I explained here in the blog, there is a deep dive into the protocol. Actually, we updated this blog today, so you can really go and read slowly all that I had explained. It's also the white paper. If you go here, there is if you want to see the mathematical model, something to tell you about. This is from when we implemented the first version, but there have been some changes in the protocol. So if you read the white paper, you will see, for example, the BT. There were 2x long positions in this model, the initial model. So we are rewriting this white paper, but at the end, what we changed is not changing the fundamentals of the protocol. So you will see this white paper is more complex, but at the end, the model it works the same. Okay, so if you go deeper, you will find a lot of information. If you want to see use the app, just go to the app. It tells you that it uses IPFS, and you should use at your own risk and all the rest. You can go and see all the disclaimers and whatever. You can connect with your Trezor directly, or Ledger, or this is a Korean hardware wallet, or you can use Wallet Connect and connect with other wallets, or you can use, for example, MetaMask. Okay, I will use MetaMask in this case. I don't recommend MetaMask if you are holding a lot of money, but for doing demos, it's very easy because you don't need to sign in your Trezor. I don't recommend MetaMask. I don't hold a lot of money in MetaMask. Okay, so in this wallet, I'm connected to MetaMask. If you are using MetaMask, MetaMask don't have RSK as network. You need to configure the network in MetaMask. If you need to know how to configure MetaMask for using Manuel chain, you can go to here. If you go to learn in the wiki, for example, you can go to wallet setup, and you can go wallet setup for advanced users. And here it explains how to configure MetaMask. So, for example, in the case of MetaMask, you need to add a new network and a chain ID and everything. So everything is explained here. If you want to use a defined wallet, that is a mobile wallet, I do recommend to use Defiant. It's very easy to use. You can use it you can download from App Store or from Google Play. It's very, very, very easy to go, but here is explain all the wallets. I'm going to show on MetaMask because it's easier to explain, especially in a computer. But for day-to-day transaction, better to use Defiant. It's very easy to use Defiant, but if you have any question, you can join the Telegram group, and ask how to use it. Again, from my point of view, it's very, very, very easy. If you know Bitcoin wallets, it's very, very easy to use. So again, I had downloaded and I have configured my MetaMask wallet. In this case, again, there is other wallets. In this case, I have some RBTC. If you don't have RBTC, you can go here, convert BTC to RBTC. So what you will find here, you push here we have integrated Fast BTC, which is a protocol from Sovereign, which is another project. But if you press convert, you will generate a BTC address and you will send Bitcoin to this address. If you are watching this and you want to send me some Bitcoins, you can do it here. Up to 3 Bitcoins, all is welcome. This is a joke, obviously. So it costs you for each transaction 5,000 Satoshis and 0.2%. This is a not completely decentralized way to mint RBTC, to get RBTC. Actually, this is centralized, but it doesn't have know your customer, nothing. You just send Bitcoins and you get RBTC. It says 60 minutes, but it takes only 10 minutes normally. And if you do it, you can test it. It works. In the more than 2 years that I've been running this service, I never heard about any problem. If you don't trust on this, you can use the two-way peg. Again, you can go to I will go here, getting RBTC. Here is several ways to get RBTC. Here is the two-way peg using the app. Here it explains you how to use an app built by RSK. And again, it's very easy. If you go to two-way peg app, you can convert your Bitcoin using Ledger or Trezor or Liquidity, which is also a Web3 wallet. Okay. There is a question from Dusan if there is some more competition in Bitcoin-backed stablecoin. If not, why that might be? Yes, there is some other Bitcoin-backed stablecoins in Rostock. There is a new project which is called Zero. If you go to Sovereign, I will go here. This is Zero, Sovereign app. You take a loan on your Bitcoins and you mint the set USD token. Okay, this is a fork of Liquidity. Liquidity is like Liquidity is a big project in Ethereum. Zero is a project from Sovereign. They forked this project. As you see, in Ethereum is very big. In Rostock is quite newer, this project, but it's already, there is like 700 Bitcoins in this project. Okay. Well, I will continue with the demo. If you have more questions, let me know. So again, I have already sent some Bitcoins here. I have converted some BTC to RBTC. I have some Bitcoins. If I want to mint to mint some dollar on chains, I just go here to dollar on chain. I push here, and I will be able to exchange. Total available, I have like $62 to mint. I will only mint 30. Okay. So it will tell me how many RBTC I need. I will pay the fees with MOC. I have some MOCs. I minted. It takes like 30 seconds to mint this transaction. Okay. We will need to wait. I can close this. I can close this, and in a couple of minutes I will have some more docs. I think, well, now I have 600, I will have like 630, okay? The way to mint Bipro is exactly the same. I go here and I mint, or for example, I can, instead of minting, I can redeem Bipro. The same can be done with dollar chain. In this case, I will redeem all my, not all, I will redeem a little bit. Say 34. I will redeem some of my Bipro. So it's, again, it's very, very easy to use. If you have Bipro, like in my case, I have like $600 in Bipro. If you go here, you will see that today I earned some MOC tokens. These MOC tokens are the liquidity mining program that I told you that is a way to decentralize the project and to give this governance token to the liquidity providers, okay? So if you are providing liquidity, beside the upside that you can have or not, depending on the price of Bitcoin, you will get these rewards, okay? And with that tokens, you can vote or you can stake it. If you stake it, for example, here you go to the MOC, and if you stake it, now it's paying like 10% on the price. So it's a way to speculate with these tokens. And if you want to vote proposals, there is a forum and there is an application to vote new proposals. I don't want to go deeper on that because it takes time mainly, but there is way to vote and more features. Regarding metrics, right now, if you see in the protocol, there is like in total 1,600 Bitcoins, of which 2.4 million are dollar chains. They fluctuate. Sometimes there is more, sometimes there is less. These are, let me see here. If you go to performance in the web page, here you have some historical metrics. So, for example, they've been up to one moment there was like 6 million dollar chain. It depends on the users, what they want. Most users are providing liquidity. The dollar chain up to now, there is some usage, but it's retail use. And the usage besides retail is mainly in the Tropicus. It's not huge, the amount, but if you are Bitcoiners needing to have some stable coins and not willing to use a centralized token, well, you can use this. The 10% gain for staking more comes from where? The 10% comes, a proportion of that, if you go to here, to the blog, you will see there is a reward program that a portion of the tokens, of the MOC tokens, have not been minted all together. So a portion is like a subsidy, similar to Bitcoin, and it's part of that 10%. And another proportion is from the fees. So, for example, here, let me see again the transactions. Let me show you here. Here is the 30 docs that I minted. So now I have some more docs, 630. And if you see here, you will see that I pay a gas fee. This went to the Bitcoin miners. And there was a platform fee or protocol fee. This $0.07 80% of that fee goes to the MOC token holders, okay? And 20% go to the BPRO holders. So part of that fees comes, so that 10%, a proportion comes from these fees. And also, I mentioned before, but maybe very fast, if you are holding BPRO, you are paying like a maintenance fee or a management fee to the MOC token holders. Okay, so when I say that the performance of the BPRO right now is 19% on top of Bitcoin, this has they've been paying a fee to the MOC token holders for building this and for managing this. Okay, so it's decentralized in a way, but the MOC token holders are getting a fee for providing this governance, and most of the MOC token holders invested provide funds to build all this. This been not built from thin air. A lot of people invested money to build this, and they got these tokens. And well, this is a usage. You can buy and whatever. So I don't know if how much is the managing fee for the BPRO holders is 1% per year, but it's charged in a weekly basis. It's not 1% all charged one day. It's 1% per year. I don't know. Well, this is main things in the demo. Again, as you see here, you can see how much it costs for minting a token. It doesn't matter if you mint $1 million or just $30. More or less, it costs $1. Okay, this is like a fixed cost. This is executing a complex smart contract. But for example, this is a transfer of a token. If you go and see the cost of transferring a token, actually you can see it here. RSK station. The cost of sending tokens right now on RSK is like 4 cents. Okay, so it's very cheap to send tokens. Not so cheap, much cheaper than in Ethereum. It's quite similar to using Binance Smart Chain or other smart contract platform. So it's quite cheap to use this smart contract. Again, if you are minting $30, maybe it doesn't make sense. It's better to buy it using, for example, Sovereign, paying only the exchange, the chain fee. Okay. So I don't know more if there is any. So your BPRO is decreasing by 1% a year on weekly basis. Yes, regarding that, yes, it's decreasing 1% a year on weekly basis. If the price of Bitcoin stays exactly the same, your BPRO will be decreasing 1% per year. But that if the price of Bitcoin doesn't move. If the price of Bitcoin goes up, the BPRO will go higher, as you see. For example, now the BPRO, when the protocol started, the price of Bitcoin was exactly the same. Of BPRO and Bitcoin was the same. Now one BPRO is $34,000, and that's because that's more leverage. Even discounting these fees, they've been earning more Bitcoins that they have now. So I don't know, Dusan, if there is more questions. Something that I have not shown. Anyway, I will share this presentation, but you can join also. There is I will put it a little bit bigger. Here is a Telegram group in English. It's not very active, the English group. It's more in English. Normally people use more Discord. There's also a Discord group. You will find it in our webpage. And in Spanish, it's more used the Telegram group. Okay. So I don't know if there is any other question from any other person. Really very, very good questions, Susan. Thank you. I think it's nearly 2 hours since we started. So I don't know if there is no more questions, we can stop here, and I will share the record afterwards.
Thank you, Manu. Yeah, I was just putting the questions that were coming from the people that were here with me and from my questions. So I was just, when they asked, I just immediately were putting it down there. So you were answering them on the go. So that's perfect.
Perfect. Well, again, Dusan, thank you a lot for your time on all the people. Well, I enjoy a lot the questions, and I hope to yeah.
Yeah, a couple of maybe more. So about integration on dollar on chain, what you need to do, for example, to set up a merchant with dollar on chain? Like I know what to do with the Lightning wallet, but if some merchant wants to do stablecoin and we tell him like, yeah, well, let's do this one, what you need to do? Because the app that you were showing there, the I know the name of it, the on a D, started with a D, the wallet.
Defiant wallet.
I downloaded it a couple of weeks ago to my telephone, to iPhone, and it just didn't work. It didn't open up. There were some issues, so I just couldn't use that. So I don't know, what are the recommended ways to accept dollar on chain, and how to work with it?
Well, Defiant is very, very easy to use. I don't know what problem you had, but maybe we can. I don't know if you contact the support team, but normally if anyone have any problem, please contact them or let me know, and I will put you in contact with the right person. But it's very easy to use. You can use Trezor also with using the application. If you want to receive in the application, if you want, you just go and you can share your address from here, copy your address and send it by WhatsApp. And if someone wants to send you dollar on chain, they put here the address, they put $10 and you send. It's exactly the same as this works not like a wallet. Again, the wallet here is MetaMask. You can use MetaMask also. I don't recommend MetaMask Mobile because I had some problem in the past with MetaMask Mobile. Again, the most used mobile wallet is Defiant. I don't know which problem you have. Sorry, if you want to send from MetaMask, you go here and you can send tokens. This is the most used wallet in the world. In beside, in what we call DeFi. Okay, so no problem using MetaMask. I've been using for paying things for several years without any problem, and you can use this if you are a merchant. Again, you can use MetaMask integrating a Trezor, or you can use directly, instead of using here, I disconnect, I connect to my Trezor. I don't have my Trezor now connected, so I will not connected, but you can connect and it's exactly the same. So I will cancel this. But you can use Trezor or Ledger and it works, okay? It's exactly the same, only that you need to sign the transactions. And there is also some explanations how to configure the wallets here in the wiki for other here hardware wallet setups. Okay.
And okay, perfect. And Manu, the address that you showed there, that's similar than in Ethereum, like you have a static address?
Yes,
or
it's a static address. Normally what I do is you have like a more, they have the same problem that Ethereum RSK. Right now, it's not very private. It's the same.
That's what I wanted to ask. Like, how does the privacy compare with Liquid? Because I know that Liquid is confidential transactions, and I wanted to ask about the rootstock if it has the same privacy.
No, it's the same problem as Ethereum. The real solution for this, for having more privacy, will come with Taro in Lightning or with RGB. We are working on that. The idea is for this to having really retail adoption mainstream will be on Lightning Network. We are working with Lightning Labs and now trying to work with RGB team and trying to integrate RSK to these projects. And the main idea, the same as Taro or RGB, are going to port tokens. The idea is to integrate the POPEC to Lightning Network. So you will be able to issue tokens on Lightning Network in a trust minimized way. So not having to depend on a tethering.
And about the peg of dollar on chain during these kind of bear market times and rough times, what was the maximum depegging that happened?
No, there was no depeg in the more than 3 years at no moment. It was always 1-to-1.
Okay, but the 1-to-1 is maintained not by the market forces, but by the smart contract.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay,
of
so
course,
the risk...
you can go and buy in a secondary market. Right now, it's very, very small secondary market, but if you don't like the price somewhere else, you can redeem against the smart contract. Always 1-to-1.
Makes sense. And the price of Bitcoin is gathered from like the Oracle. Where does it gather it from? The price of Bitcoin
from the oracles, manual chain oracles. How they are built. The price is set from the price of Bitcoin in the biggest exchange in the world, from Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, Bitstamp, from the pair Bitcoin US dollar settle. So actually, we understand that this is the best oracle right now for having the Bitcoin price. It's a very fast oracle. It provides the price of Bitcoin up to each block in RSK. So again, actually, other projects in Rootstock are using these oracles.
Okay,
but
makes sense.
This is the price that here you can see the price, and this price comes from the oracles. If you want to know more about this, if you go to oracles onion chain, this is okay. Here is quite detailed how it works.
Okay.
And if you want to integrate the Oracle for any project, there is in the Discord, there is a more technical channel for integrating the oracles.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, I don't know about any other question that comes to my mind. It's very complex on a first sight. It's a brave project that you're building, and I would need to study it more to understand a couple of more details. So, but no, it's very interesting that something like this exists and can help Bitcoiners to also work with something that is more stable.
Yes, thank you. It's a big project. If you want to study deeply on that, it's huge. It's not a project. It has several pieces. For example, I have not talked about the decentralized exchange that is part of the protocol. It's a really huge project. But yes, it's been working for several years already. We finished the decentralization of the protocol a couple of months ago, like in December last year, because we needed to build everything. The governance is smart contracts. The oracles when we started, everything was centralized. Now everything is as much decentralized as possible. Any other project in any other chain will say that are completely decentralized. I don't know. Always is more things to decentralize.
Mm-hmm. And Man, what do you see as a reason why the money on chain is not more adopted? Is it like the Bitcoiners doesn't care about stablecoins and only Ethereum community cares about them? What might be the reason for that?
Well, I think when we started, there was nothing on RSK. RSK is very small. 50% of the Bitcoin in RSK are in money on chain. So first, I would say that there is very little interest on Bitcoiners on decentralized finance. I would say, besides Bitcoin, I think a lot of Bitcoiners don't see the risk on using Tether. In general, I would say the crypto world don't see the risk on using centralized stablecoins. It's a fact. It's not something that is like I have like 90 billion reasons why I say that the market don't face the risk. It's not a problem with money on chain because again, if you see the decentralized protocols in other chains, well, MakerDAO grew a lot, but then the model didn't work. I don't know. I think the main reason is Rostock is still. I think it has some issues. For example, if you want to redeem RBTC, right now it's not so easy to do it. Using the fast BTC, yes, but if you want to use the POPEC, which is the most decentralized way, it's not so easy. Again, using the fast BTC is very easy if you are a retail, but if you are a big liquidity provider and you want to redeem 300 Bitcoins, is all the mechanism to mint and to redeem Bitcoin to Bitcoin to RBTC and vice versa are not ready. And well, that is going to be finished, I expect, this year. And that is finished, maybe more big players are going to start using Rostock. When that happens, I expect that more money is in Rostock, and I hope that they will use this kind of protocols. And again, building this is not at all easy, especially when you don't have a token that you've been minted from thin air. Building on Rostock is very, very hard. Raising money to build this is really, really tough. It's not the same as on in Ethereum, in Polygon, in whatever. All these other chains had big VCs that been funding with Ethereum, with Matic, with BNB tokens, with a lot of money to invest in many projects. So Bitcoin, I think is very, very tough.
Makes sense. Manu, thank you so much. It was very inspirational, very interesting. And I hope that you can come to Roatan and do some workshops also here in person someday. And we would like to see you and meet you with the Bitcoin community here.
Thank you. And anyone that have any question, just reach me. I'm in the WhatsApp group. I try to help everyone. But if not, in the Telegram group, there is many other users. So if you have a question, just drop it there. Someone is going to answer, like any Bitcoiner group. Again, I invite you to test it. Also, you can test everything on testnet. You don't need to use real Bitcoins to test all this. Even in Defiant, you can test everything on testnet. So you don't need to risk your Bitcoins. If you are going to use it, start small and ask any question that you have. Ask.
Makes sense. Super. Thank you so much one more time, and pleasure to have you guys here as well.
Thank you. Hope you see you. Hi, Michael. You have a question?
The Telegram group is in the chat. The link.
Perfect. I will share it in the WhatsApp. Dusan, if you are okay, I will share it there.
Yeah, of course. Share information there, and somebody who also put a recording there. If somebody wanted to see that and didn't have time right now, they can watch it after that.
Perfect. Well, have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.